Alright, today we are going to learn the third topic of this course in IFFM 211. The third topic is management of current assets. Okay, as we have previously learned, there are two types of assets, which are the current assets and non-current assets. So current assets are the one that is used, okay, to provide or to finance the operating activities. Meaning to say, when you are working in a company, you will be seeing that the manufacturing part, okay, the raw materials, anything, the accounts receivable are the one that is account for current assets, in which it accounts for your operating activities, okay, and not for in the long term asset management. So there are mainly there are three types of current assets, okay, that we are going to cover today, which are, the first one is inventory management. Inventory management. Okay. The second one is accounts receivable management. Okay, and then the third one is marketable securities management. Okay, securities management. Okay, so we begin by inventory management. Okay, if you have already known, okay, inventory management is anything that is used, okay, in manufacturing department. Let's say if you are in a bakery, okay, your inventory usually will be like what? Eggs, flowers, you will have some salt, some sugar, some vanilla essence, some baking powder. Those are considered as inventory, and inventory is part of current assets. Because why? You, if in case of default you don't want to bake cakes anymore, you can sell your excess ingredients to the outsiders, okay, so that they can do whatever they want lah. If they say you sell them the eggs that you don't want to use anymore because you have stopped operating there, they can turn it into, they buy and then they can turn it into fried eggs, okay, like that. So inventory management, the first component of the cash conversion cycle is the average age of inventory. The objective for managing inventory, as noted earlier, is to turn over inventory as quickly as possible without losing sales from stockouts. Okay, in CCC, cash conversion cycle, okay, the formula for CCC is that okay, it equals to ICP plus ACP minus PDP. So ICP is inventory conversion period. Okay, inventory conversion period. Okay, so what it is, what is it? Inventory conversion period, the time taken for you to convert your raw materials, your inventory, into sellable finished product. Okay, sellable finished product. Okay, you, of course, you do not want to sell your flowers to the customers because they can buy that flowers outside. That's why you are selling the things that they don't have at the other source. There is your cakes. All right, so you need to, in order to have a faster CCC, you need to reduce the amount of ACP. You need to reduce this amount so that you can have shorter CCC. So if you have previously known, the shorter the CCC is, the better the financial performance of the company in terms of operating investment. So differing viewpoints about appropriate inventory levels commonly exist among a firm's finance, marketing, manufacturing and purchasing managers. So different managers in the same company will have different opinions in regard to the inventory level in a certain period of time. So first of all, we of course we will go through the financial manager's perspective first, okay. The financial manager's general disposition to inventory level is to keep them low, to ensure that the firm's money is not being unwisely invested in excess resource. They think like this because they feel like the money that the money that the company has can be used for another things that can be done in order to gain even higher profit. Okay, of course, in terms of this, you can actually make profit, okay, out of the selling activities. But then if you have previously then if you have extra money in your current asset, that cash is considered as current asset, you can use to buy other fixed asset that can earn higher return in the future. Okay, that is the financial manager's perspective. So what if we go to the marketing manager's point of view? Okay, on the other hand, marketing managers would like to have large inventories of the firm's finished products. This would ensure that all orders could be filled quickly, eliminating the need for back orders due to stockouts. The marketing manager feels like the more inventory that you have, the better it is, because you can convert your inventory to sellable finished products, so that whenever there is always customers wanting for some even more products, okay, the company will have no risk of stock out. So the risk of a stock out is that it can attract the customers, or it can discourage the customers from coming back to your store again. Okay, every time they go to your store, they will feel like, oh, okay, this time no longer available. Every day not available. So what they can do is that they go to the other stores that provide 24 hours lah. That's why you need to prevent the stock out in your company. Alright, so what for the manufacturing managers? The manufacturing manager's major responsibility is to implement the production plan so that it results in the desired amount of finished goods of acceptable quality available at a time at low cost. Okay, so dekat sini it means that the manufacturing managers need to properly set up a plan that can have the right amount of inventory that can go into the warehouse. Okay, so what about the purchasing manager? Purchasing managers are concerned solely with the raw materials inventories. Okay, this one is not that important, but then purchasing managers are the ones who are responsible to order the raw materials from the supplier. So whenever they just concerns with, okay, if the raw materials is finished, what can they do? Okay, they just order. Okay, that's all. Alright, moving on to the next slide. Okay, common techniques for managing inventory. Okay, how do you manage the inventory? Okay, this is the first part. Okay, the first one is ABC system. Okay, a firm using the ABC inventory system divides its inventory into 3 groups: A, B, and C. Okay, this one is very easy. The A group includes those items with the largest dollar investment. Typically, this group consists of 20% of the firm's inventory items, but 80% of its investment inventory. Okay, so this one, okay, the ABC, it divides inventory, okay, into 3 separable groups, okay, in which it is separated under the basis of the value of the inventory itself. Okay, so look at the A group. Okay, this group consists of 20% of the firm inventory items, but 80% of its investment in inventory. Okay, what is it they consider 20% of the firm's inventory? It means that it contributes just a little bit of the production process, okay, but then it is very, very valuable to that company. If in case of losses, the company will bear a huge loss. That is group A. For example, in any factory, let's say you are using I'm not sure that there's a certain parts of maybe in remote controller that needs to be used a very expensive materials, components. That's why, okay, that component is not, okay, it is just as equally important to other parts, but then it only the importance of that component is not as important as the others component, but then the investment is very, very high. Okay, some of the investment meant in this point is that, like in taking care of those things, okay, you need to hire security guards in order to take care of your things, of the inventory, because it is very valuable. People can steal it. If even your employees can steal the product. That's why you need to have proper security of the A group of inventory. Okay, So the B group consists of items that account for the next largest investment inventory. This one sits between the A and C. C being like the lowest point of the lowest part of inventory. It means that if in case of losses, the financial manager will not be so headache to think of what are the substitute because they are relatively cheaper than A. But then B is just as important as A. Okay, and the C group consists of a large number of items that require a relatively small investment, such as the two-bin method. This two-bin method is like the that I have explained earlier. Okay, in case of losses, financial manager can think of any other substitute that can be used, okay, just to prevent the losses. And then moving on to the next slide. Okay, this is the second part, economic order quantity model. Okay, it is an inventory management technique for determining an item's optimal order size, which is the size that minimizes the total of order cost and carrying costs. Okay, let me highlight this one first. Right, it is an inventory management techniques for determining an item's optimal order size, which is the size that minimizes the total of its order cost and carrying costs. Okay, this one, if you are the financial manager on the production department, you will have to see that the inventory is not the only cost. Okay, you will see the electricity that needs to be taken care of when you order something to take care of the inventory. For example, if you buy butter, okay, if you buy a block of butter need to be chilled. Okay, in order for the butter to be chilled, you need to have a refrigerator needs electricity to maintain its function. So that's why, okay, we are learning this model. Okay, so we need to consider with the order cost, okay, and carrying cost. Okay, carrying cost, this is the first one, this is the second one. So order costs, okay, order costs are the cost of writing a purchase order, of processing the resulting paperwork, and of receiving an order and checking it against the invoice. So this one, the order cost is the order cost lah. Okay, you know, when you want to order the next raw materials of the company, okay, to produce the output, okay, the order itself has a lot of cost, because for example, the import is an order cost. Okay, delivery is an order cost, because it will not be incurred as long as you not order it. Okay, once you order, you will have to incur those costs. Okay, that is what it meant by order cost. But then, okay, so they include the fixed clerical cost of placing and receiving orders. Okay, this one I've already explained earlier. Okay, and then order costs are stated in dollars per order. So this one, it is stated in dollars per order. You need to know order cost. Okay, the higher amount of the higher the quantity of products that you are ordered, okay, that you order from the supplier, the lower the order cost per unit lah. Okay, let's say you are ordering maybe let's say for example, order cost is RM50. Okay, order cost is 50 ringgit, but you need to order maybe like 20 units of input. Okay, so 20 units, but still the order cost is still the same, 50 ringgit. Okay, but so the per unit is maybe like 50 over 20. How much you get for the price per unit? Okay, let's say you want to order 50 units. Okay, 50 units. Okay, so what we get? Okay, 50 units, 50 ringgit over 50 units, you will get the order cost is per unit of input is 1 ringgit per input. That's why the higher the number of input, or the quantity of input that you order, the lower the order cost. Okay, carrying costs are the variable cost per unit of holding an item of inventory for a specific period of time. Okay, The variable cost per unit of holding an item for inventory for a specific period of time. So this one, carrying cost ni is basically the holding cost. Okay, after you receive the order from the supplier, of course you want to keep it in a safe place, can? Okay, you want to keep it in a safe place. Let's say we are using the previous example, you buy a block of butter. You bought a block of butter, you need to maintain that butter to be chilled in a good condition. You need to chill it freezer. Other things, maybe you need to maintain the temperature. Okay, how do you maintain the temperature? It has to be human assisted. Okay, labor assisted temperature management. So you need to hire a guy, an employee, to control the temperature when you are not there. Okay, so this is the carrying cost. So carrying costs include storage costs, insurance costs, the cost of deterioration and obsolescence, and the opportunity of financial cost of having funds in invested inventory. So unlike other costs, okay, carrying costs, the more the higher the number of quantity of input that you order, okay, the higher the cost per unit of carrying costs. Okay, and now we move on to the mathematical model of EOQ. So mathematical model of EOQ. Okay. Yes, okay. So S is the usage per period. Okay, it is valued in terms of units. Okay, the number of products. Okay, and then is order. O stands for order cost per period. Okay, stated in currency lah. Alright, and then we have C, carrying cost per unit per period. Okay, of course in the currency. And then we have Q, okay, the quantity of goods ordered. Okay, goods ni is the one that the raw materials, okay, or raw materials or any kind of inventory that you need to use. Okay, alright, so how do we derive the model? Step 1, total order cost. Okay, total order cost. Okay, total order cost is given by the O multiplied by S over Q. Moving on to step number 2. Step number 2, you need to find the total carrying cost. Okay, so total TCC lah. I just write in TCC. Oh wait. Okay, TCC. So TCC equals to C multiplied by Q divide by 2. Okay, why you have to divide the carrying cost? Okay, total carrying cost you have to divide by 2 because, okay, divide by 2 because it is assumed that the holding cost decreases as sales activities occur. Okay, so why? Because you are basically assuming that over the time the carrying cost will be lower because you need to produce things, you produce your output, so you need to use the inventory. So but eventually your your inventory will be running out, and then the lower amount of inventory means lower amount of carrying costs. Okay. All right, now we move on to finding the third step. Okay, step number 3, total inventory cost. So total inventory cost, okay, TIC lah. TIC equals to total order cost plus total carrying cost equals to OS divided by Q plus CQ over 2. This is the total inventory cost. Now, how do we find the economic order quantity? Finding the EOQ. Okay, so EOQ happens, economic order quantity happens, okay, happens when TOC equals to TCC. Okay, so TOC equals to CC when, okay, so OS over Q equals to CQ over 2. So now what do we need? Okay, solve for Q. Okay, now how do we find it? Okay, so O, okay, S over Q equals to C Q over 2. Okay, so OS over Q equals to CQ over 2. So if you bring it here, okay, you have the 2OS equals to CQ square. Okay, so to avoid confusion, let me just switch, okay, the position of O in the middle, so it should avoid the 20S. Okay, so maybe 2SO over C equals to Q square. Okay, so now solving for Q. Okay, solving for Q, 2SO over C, we will get Q. So this is economic order quantity. Okay, so this is how you get your economic order quantity. Okay, that's all. Okay, but then it has its own but then EOQ has its own limitation. Okay, okay, the limitation is that EOQ only assumes for constant sale. Okay, constant sale is just constant sales are just equal to the what we call as the permanent requirement of fund. Okay, they do not take care of the whether there's a festivity season in which they need to increase the carrying cost, they need to increase the order and whatsoever. So that's why EOQ is not good in that kind of inventory or operating activities. Okay, and then okay, I think that's all. That is the primary limitation of EOQ. Okay.